Greetings, students. I'm your instructor for this course, and I wanted to first of all thank you for all the wonderful suggestions and very positive comments that those of you who have taken some of my past courses has given me. I've received a lot of very nice complimentary, ideas about the way my courses are structured. I give the credit to you because I actually read those evaluations, and then very frankly, I also listen to those weekly anonymous postings that we have. So if my course you consider it to be more student friendly, all right, it's because of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, one of the things that I've always done is at the beginning of the semester, during the very first week of the semester, when students are still adding, dropping, and everything, I've been usually using that time for what I call to be a module 0 or orientation. And because we do not have a very strict, in our school, we don't have a very strict prerequisite system. I get students from all the levels. I've had students, believe it or not, I teach usually upper division courses, as you know, but I've been getting students even who are freshmen and sometimes sophomore, okay? So then I end up, spending the first two, sessions of the class, basically focusing on, the structure of the course, special assignments. I decided what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to have a recording for that, okay? Because I think the courses are covering, for division courses, they're covering a lot of material anyway. And very frankly, I need every single class session for that. And I really value the interaction with students. As you know, my teaching style is interactive. So if it's interactive, that means that a regular lecture that could be like maybe 25 minutes, for sure it would take me longer because I ask question, or when students they raise their hand, I answer their question or something. So that would take a little bit longer. Of course, for me, quality is a lot more important than quantity. Don't worry. But I think it's important to have all of this material, which are actually in your syllabus. Also presented in a video format. So if you just want to listen to it or watch me describing it once, that would be much easier. On to, for example, module 0 of the course, where basically we introduce the students to the course and to the background information, and then we can move on from there. Okay, so please bear with me. What I want to talk about right now is, as I mentioned, structure of the courses. I like to think, and based on what the students they are telling me, it seems like my courses are the most generous courses, not just in our school of in our school, but also in our college and also at the university. So I'm very, very happy about that. What does that mean? That means that I am always grading, okay? According to my girlfriend, she says that you're always grading. So I'm always grading. But I want to make a difference. I'm going to be retiring in a few years, and I have always tried to provide things that I really wanted when I was a student, and unfortunately in our generation that was not available. In our generation, what we had to do was basically do one term paper, is that right? One midterm and one final. Okay, so everything we had was based on that one. Class discussion was not according to the system at the time. I'm not trying to blame it on any of my former professors because I thought they were very, very brilliant people. That was not valued. Participation was not really valued, And let's face it, for my generation, education was basically a one way, The professor comes to the class and the assumption is he's the source of all the information and knowledge and wisdom and everything. And the students, they don't know anything. They're sitting over there like disciples, writing everything down. Is that right? And then he assessed them in, midterm and final and, tape paper, and that's it. Well, first of all, just those very few assignments, it doesn't provide the student with the flexibility that, how about if in one or two assignments they don't do well? Then forget about A, and most likely B. and then if they're working very, very hard, all they can do is a C or, whatever, and it would be very easy to get into what? D and F level, okay? And sometimes that leads the students to actually withdraw from the class. Well, here at UCF, we actually care about students, and we really wanted to make sure that students, they do not end up after a whole semester with a D, F, or even end up, withdrawing from the course and getting a W. So, having said that, the structure of my class is to provide as many opportunities as possible, okay? The students, they say, Dr. Sad, your classes are so generous in terms of opportunities. Yes, they are generous, but that one by itself is not going to guarantee you what? A very good, grade at the end of the semester. You need to use them. And today I'm going to talk about how you should use it. First of all, my suggestion is, yes, I do provide you with all of these, but let's face it, the beginning of the semester, I know that even if you might be new to the subject and say, oh, I'm not sure about this, but still, that subject at the beginning of the semester is much easier because it's still at the introductory level. Before it gets to, by the time we get to the second exam, it gets more, complicated. And then toward the end of the semester, when we are getting close to the final, it becomes very complex. Is that right? So, my suggestion is try to do the first few assignments very well for a couple of reasons. Number one, you want to do it because they're easier and you can, secure a higher score. And number two is you want to do it so you would not be considered a disengaged student. That's one of the terminologies used right now for students who leave the course all the way until, I don't know, middle of the semester, and then suddenly they start working. Now, I do understand that, of course, you have other obligations. I know that many of our students are working, many of our students, they have families and personal, family obligations or other obligations. Yes, I do understand. That's one of the other reasons that I have so many opportunities for you to use, because I want you to do well. All right. As I've mentioned many times, I think some of you guys are tired of it probably. I don't take pride in failing half of my class. All right. So I provide as many opportunities as possible, and because you're doing so much, I don't need to necessarily, try to defend my, system to the department, college, or university and say, oh, wait a minute, maybe you have a very easy system. No, the students are doing a lot of work. They're doing a lot of reading. They're doing a lot of research. They're doing a lot of writing. Is that right? They're doing well on the quizzes and exams. So what? Am I supposed to withhold a good grade from them? No. If all of you deserve to receive A, you deserve it. Okay? If all of you want to receive whatever you wanted to receive, higher scores, you deserve it because you have done the work. So having said that one, what is the general structure? The general structure, again, as I mentioned, is that we start a module every week. Some people who are coming from high school, they say lesson plan. Fine. We call lesson plan modules, all right? The modules, they start from the beginning of the work week, is that right? Which is Monday. Mondays usually there is some assignments due, is that right? There is the Center for Faculty Teaching and Learning. They tell us that make sure that even before you start lecturing, is that right? You get the student to read the material ahead of time and do some kind of writing assignment. So don't worry about perfection in terms of your discussion posting, okay? That's just a starting point. All right, so I get the students to do their reading, and what do we have? We have 12 basically reading modules, and we have 3 exam modules. So we have module 1, 2, 3, and then we have what? Module 4, which is exam 1 or midterm 1. Okay, that one is required for everybody without any kind of exception. All right, then we have the second third is module 5, 6, 7, and then we have what? Module 8, which is exam 2. Exam 2 is not required for everybody. Okay, it's required only for people who fail exam 1. Because I want to make sure that no student continues with a class with a failing grade on the first exam. Okay. Now, if your scores are not very, very high, you're still more than welcome to take exam 2. It's up to you, but it's not required for you. Okay? But I need to save students some time from themselves, and that's what I worry about. Okay? So, having said that one, Then after we are finished with exam 2, then we have module 9, 10, 11. Then module 12 is what? Final exam. And for final exam, and those of you who know me, I always follow the rules of my department, my college, and my university. UCF requires to have some form of, assessment during the final exam period. And that's the only time I give the final. I know some colleagues and some people that I know, I'm not going to mention any names, okay? They do it in a different way. They do it before the final exam starts, or sometimes they pass that period of time. No, I do it exactly based on UCF schedule. So sometimes, the date might be a little bit different from the date that we usually take our assessment. By assessment, we mean quizzes or exams. Okay. Having said that one, so you know the general structure of that one. Then what do we offer? Every reading module ends at the end of that week with a quiz, without any kind of doubt. Now, sometimes the module material is so big that we can't finish it in 1 week. It would be a killer, and we have to be understanding of students' limit, because my course is not the only course you're taking. You're taking at least 3-4 other courses. Is that right? So, with that one, with the very large modules, what I've done is I divided it into 2 parts. A very good example of that one is the first module after exam 2. Okay, exam 2 is module 8, and module 9 is the material is large. They're related and they're large. So we have it as module 9 part 1, module 9 part 2. Okay, and then the quiz of it comes at the end of module 9 part 2 for the whole material. But at least you have had the opportunity to do 2 different posting. The material has been a little bit more manageable, and hopefully you have digested it, you understood it. Okay, not memorize it, understood it. All right, and this is my job. My job is to make sure you understand the material, not to memorize. I don't want to use your brain as just a memorization machine. Of course, I understand a part of education is memorization. Yes, there are some facts you need to know. If you do not know the capital of our country is Washington, D.C., that's memorization. There is no way around it. Is that right? Well, somebody's in trouble, okay? If you do not know the capital of some of the major countries, here and there, that there is an issue right there, okay? Yes, I do understand there is some memorization in our education, but for God's sake, I think you need to understand the material, because when you understand the material, you enter the next level for you would be either a grad program or a job. That's what they want mostly, not just to use your brain as a memorization machine. Okay, so having said that one, as I mentioned, 12 reading module, each one ending up with with basically 1 quiz. So here we have like 9 quizzes. Is that right? So 9 quizzes in terms of one for 1, 2, and 3, then another one for 5, 6, and 7, then another one for 9, 10, and 11. So that makes it 9 quizzes. But when we say 12, it's just because all modules combined. Is that right? Including the 3 exam modules, 4, 8, and 9. Of course, 4, 8, and 9, the assessment for that is an exam, not a quiz. All right. So then what's the next thing that you need to consider in terms of the structure of our course? It is the discussion posting. I follow the suggestions of the Faculty Center for Teaching and Learning, or FCTL, that it suggests that modern teaching is not you go and lecture and they memorize, as I mentioned earlier. So I get the students to actually read the material ahead of time. They don't have to have a complete understanding of it. Is that right? They're reading the material so the brain is ready for it when I lecture. The very first one, writing assignment based on the understanding they have. Again, I don't go over there and just, for example, take points off. Oh, you didn't understand this one. Why didn't you? Well, that's a part of my job, that after they have already done the discussion, then what we do is I give the lectures, I answer a question, and in that way they understand material better, as opposed to they just take notes. Oh, this is what my professor said. This must be right. This must be the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And I've had students asking me, they said, Professor, how come you give me so many options? What's the answer to things? Well, my answer to that type of question is this. I don't teach physics, chemistry, math. Is that right? I teach a social science course. I teach courses about international relation. Well, many times there are different answers to the same question, depending on your perspective. Of course, I try to present a very balanced. As you probably already know, those of you who know my reputation, I'm neither a Democrat or a Republican. I'm what, I'm independent. I'm middle of the ground. Is that right? We are an immigrant family. We've been exposed to different ideas. And I see some of the stuff that I like about what the Democrats present and some of the stuff that I like about what the Republican present. So I tell you what, elections are a very difficult period for me, okay? Because I have to read every single, platform of everybody and then see when the candidate for jobs, what they say and what they wanted to do and then decide, okay, I want to vote for this one or that one. You know what I mean? Because usually the third candidate, unfortunately, they don't have much of a chance the way the founding fathers established our system. But anyway, getting back to the what? To the discussion posting. So every module has at least one discussion posting. The modules that they have two parts, they have two discussion postings. Like module, as I mentioned, module 9, is that right? Module 9 has module 9 part 1, module 9 part 2, okay? So each one has a different discussion posting. So we do not bombard the student with a lot of information, and by the time they finish module 9 part 2, they have a much better understanding of the material. They are more ready for what? The assessment. So now, remember, from the time that I mentioned about the quizzes, I said 9 quizzes, is that right? What do I really want? I just keep your top 3 scores out of the 9. How many courses do you know that they do that? Okay, I can promise you none. All right. Then when we get to the posting, there are 12 postings. How many do I want? The top 6 scores. Okay. Now, what do I suggest? As I mentioned earlier, I suggest that do for sure, and I'm actually basically making it required. Do module 1, 2, and 3 for sure, because that gets rid of a lot of problems. Number 1, it gets you involved into the material, so even if you don't get a perfect score, you learn how to do it. All right, and you can do it earlier as opposed to later, and then you are disappointed because by the time you learn, the material has become so difficult that earning a perfect score is very, very difficult. Is that right? So you do module 1, 2, 3. If you have got a very high score or perfect score on the quizzes, which is 10 out of 10, what do you have to do anymore? You're done. All right? Isn't that great? Okay? So forget about the other 6. What about the posting? You do 1, 2, and 3, and you learn how to do it very quickly, and hopefully you've got either a perfect score or a very, very high score. You just do 3 more, and that's it. Again, you see? Then, you can focus on other things. Then in terms of the exams, we have, as I mentioned, 2 exams, midterms, better to say, exam 1, exam 2, or midterm 1, midterm 2. Midterm 1, as I mentioned, is required for everybody without any kind of exception, very frankly. Midterm 2 is required only for students who fail exam 1, okay? So then after that, what do I have for you? I have your top 3 quizzes, I have your top 6, postings, and I have your highest midterm. Then we go to the last part of the semester. The material is getting heavier, and hopefully by that time, not only you have the, you have digested the introductory part, is that right? But also you've learned how to play with it and how to understand it and how to analyze it, compare, contrast, think about it, discuss it. Then we go to the what UCF requires us at the end of the semester during the what final period. We have a final exam. Okay, so each one of the exams is 20 points. Now, as I mentioned, midterm 1 or exam 1 is required for everybody. Midterm 2 is not. Okay, and I take the higher, midterm score on that one. Final exam is also covering. It used to be cumulative, by the way. So you're a very lucky generation because in the last 2-3 years, I have made it to be what covering only the last third of the semester. Okay. So that's about it, in terms of the, assignment required with that one. Then what else do we have? In addition to that, I also have, as like a spare tire, a 5-point extra credit, which, again, based on the wonderful suggestion of many of you guys, you said at the end of it, because the module, that extra credit is a part of module 12, okay? The last module of the course. Students, they said, Dr. Sadi, by the time we're so busy, instead of a paper or something, how about if we just do it in form of a quiz? I said, okay. So guess what? extra credit is in form of a quiz, and it covers only optional material. So it's not going to be the required material, only optional material. You read the optional material. If you're still short 1-by-1 posting, you can do the posting based on that one. Is that right? For module 12, and then make sure that at least you have top 6 scores, all right, for posting. And then it also has the extra credit 5 points. It doesn't have a lot of questions. You have only 5 questions, 1 point for each, and you have about the requirements. We can talk about this one in another, what you call it, video or something. So that's about it. So altogether, we have about 105 points, and anywhere from 90 points higher, you get an A. Well, it starts with the A minus, obviously, then goes to the A. Is that right? Then 80 to basically 89 is a B, and as you can imagine, just look at the syllabus, and that table gives you the idea. All right. So this is the general structure. Something I can say that I will talk about a little bit more is in my website, again, thanks to the suggestion of a lot of your peers from the semesters before, and help that I get from course development and other offices at the UCF. All my courses are organized based on the modules, and all of the assignments are linked into that. I can talk about this one later on. But for now, you have a general idea about the what? You have a general idea about the structure of our course. Okay? I'm looking forward to working with you this semester. Thank you so much. You take care. Okay? Bye.